That's better, isn't it? Okay, so I'm trying something a little bit different today. But it's going to be a surprise. Sorry about the intro splash, but I've not had time yet to make a new thumbnail for this whole new branch of the Vic Max 76 Twitch stream. Hello to everybody that's watching. I've got to get used to there only being one camera though, because the other camera is... Oops. Up there. That's right. That's not a UFO. It's actually one of them halo lights. And it's up there because it's pointing downwards. The best planned streams of mice and men do oft not work correctly. But yeah, the phone had switched itself off. The reason that the hello, Lucky. The reason that the camera is way up here, whoa, that's kind of trippy, isn't it? Is because I'm going to do a bit of drawing today. First, I'm going to show you my equipment. Yeah, to give you a concept of scale, look, this is a typical, well, that's probably A5 size, I think. Yeah, that would be about A5, I think. And I don't want to do any product placement because nobody's paying me for this yet. I have a chewed eraser. Oops, I'm trying not to let anybody see that. A chewed eraser. A generic black pen, which most people, especially in America, usually call by its company name. But I'm not going to be doing that. Oops, I nearly let that name show. A very recognizable pencil, but I'm not going to show the logo. And this device. I'll move them to one side because I thought I'd start with a little bit of a drawing haul and show you some of the sketches from this very notebook. Some of the better ones, because I'm going to skip through the crap ones. So, before I show you the first one, I'm going to explain that I tend to prefer to draw faces, and it occurred to me when I started this notebook that the faces that I draw are usually of the same ethnic origin as myself, and I'm a person who prides myself on not being racist or anything, so I thought I would have a go at drawing somebody from a different racial group. I wanted to do big hair, basically. Is that a bit too reflective? Maybe I should turn the light down a little bit. Which way's down? There. There, that looks okay, doesn't it? And one in ink. A side view of a person with the head a little bit too small. If you find rattling pages annoying, piss off. Oh yeah, it's not only humans that I draw. Hi there. This one came out quite well, but I didn't finish it because I'd done it too far over the side of the page, so I didn't have space for the hair. I prefer drawing in pencil, but when I do ink, what I do is I draw it in pencil and then I go around it in ink, and I either rub out the pencil, which has tended to be the way I do it in the past, or I leave the pencil there as well to add extra shadows. But I tried doing one in colour, and generally I'm not very good at colouring in. I always go outside the lines. But no, it's to do with the mixing the colours. But I think this one came out quite well. That's that weird kind of waxy crayon stuff. So it will smudge. There seems to be a tendency in pop culture to skip over the fact that there's been a pandemic going on, but I decided to do a drawing of a mask wearer. I'm quite pleased with the shadow there. It looks quite good on the screen. In case you're wondering, the ones I'm skipping through are basically started sketches that I abandoned or gave up on. Oh, this page is a bit weird because I've got like a weird monstery octopus, and then a pair of teeth and a nose. Then it goes on to a load of sketches for my carpentry work, which you can see the result of on my YouTube channel. And then the most recent drawing in this book, well no, penultimate. Well, I'll show you a couple of dogs first. Yeah, so not the penultimate. But the best one so far, I think, in this notebook, because I will look at other notebooks as well, is that one. So I decided that today what I would do is I'd have a go at doing a drawing live. But also, as I briefly mentioned in my stream yesterday, I want to give back something to the small but very friendly and loving community that I've been lucky enough to stumble across on Twitch and Discord, by offering to do some drawings for you guys if you want a nice picture for your thumbnail or anything. I could do one for you right now if you just put in the chat a link. I don't know if you can put links in the chat, can you? But yeah, if you put in the chat a link to a picture that you would like me to have a go at drawing. But for now, I'm going to start with my own visage. It's quite strange looking at your own hand on a camera. I think what I have to do is I have to get in my normal drawing position. Ready? No, because then you won't be able to hear me. My usual drawing position is with my right hand in this position and my head resting on it like that. So I can get my head right down, because being left-handed, I never learned to write in this bizarre kind of upside down way that it seems all American presidents to do, because there's a statistically unusual phenomenon about the number of American presidents who are left-handed. But they all do it like that. And I was taught to write this way, but the problem when you're left-handed doing this is you rub your hand over your own work, especially when you're writing words, because it goes that way, you see. What I was going to say. No, I'm just going to get straight into it. So I'm going to be using my own face as a reference, but it's quite difficult because I'm not in the normal position. Oh yeah, so I was saying about putting my head on my hand like that. The teachers at school hated it because they always thought I was asleep. But the reason is because my left eye is considerably weaker in vision than my, you guessed it, right eye. And being left-handed, that means that I've got to put my head around the side to be able to see what I'm writing. So here we go. What I'm going to do, you see, is I'm going to start by getting the basic shape in squiggles of the crazy hair. I tend to have crazy hair more often than not because I'm too lazy to go to the hairdressers. This current cord was my first one in 6 months or more. So that should go around that way. I'm also thinking of doing like a bit of of ASMR kind of stuff because I know that I talk quite quietly and some people quite like that. That's the shape of the beard. Goes up there. I haven't decided whether to try and make it realistic or do a kind of caricature. So I'm going to let the pencil decide. That part of the beard goes out that way. And then the brow, oops, get that out of the way. The receding hairline. I think I've made the hair way too big actually. That goes back up. So this is where your rubber or eraser, as my American friends would say, comes in very handy. Because at the moment we're just trying to get the rough shape. So the eyebrow goes that way. Now this isn't actually the way that I normally draw faces when I'm just inventing them from scratch, because I always start with the eye. And quite often I get a really good eye. I'll go back to that other picture for a minute to explain. I start with an eye shape, and then if it's really good, I'll either try and replicate it on the other side or start with the nose and everything, and then realise that I need to put another eye, so I have to either put hair over it or or something else. So that's still quite faint on the screen, isn't it? I have a nose, like many of my compatriots. And then the moustache kind of goes up that way, like so. Put in a bottom lip, and the eyes. Oh, I forgot to do the Rock's eyebrow kind of thing, because when I make an effort, you can't really see from there. I can get one eyebrow to go up higher than the other. So I want to make a big eye here. Yeah, this is starting to go a bit more cartoony, so I'm going to let it go that way. And then a smaller eye that side. So now that I've got the basic form, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start going over it in a bit more detail, a bit darker. At this moment, it's not too important if you make a mistake, because what I've discovered over time of drawing, it's only been 46 years so far, but I'm going to keep practicing. What I've discovered is that that when you make a mistake, the temptation is to rub it out and try again. But if you carry on drawing, it makes it better, because you get darker lines and it forces you to have to put more detail in. Where's the eyeball? That way, like that. I do have eyelashes, but I'm only going to sketch them in roughly for now. The detail inside the eye I'm going to worry about later. Yeah, this is completely not my natural drawing position though, so I'm going to be quite impressed if it comes out well. Yeah, so that's that. That goes that way. And there we go. Oh yeah, there's kind of a random lock that goes down this way. That's going to be nice if I go like that with it. It's touched the eyebrow where it didn't in the original picture, but never mind. That's that way. And the ear sticks out behind the rest of the hair. Oh yeah, as well as having slightly lopsided eyes. Hi Chelsea, how are you doing? Yeah, as well as having slightly lopsided eyes, it's only in recent times when I've started doing videos that I've noticed that I've got one ear that sticks out more than the other as well, watch. Well, there's not enough light to see though. But anyway. I don't want to take too long over this because I want to do at least one other drawing while we're all together. So that's the style there. Get a bit more curls in this part. I'm not really making it very curly though. Yeah, if you look at the backlog of my streams, you'll discover that I don't have a full beard on some of them. And the reason was because I went to a fancy dress party. And I decided to, well, it was like a 70s style, a 70s party. So I decided to go with just a moustache and it looked quite cool, but the problem is when I got rid of all the beard, I discovered that I have absolutely no chin at all. I've got so used to seeing myself with a big chin because of having a beard there, that it was like if I go like that, you can kind of get an idea. I was like, shit, somebody's taken half of my face. So I grew it back as quickly as I could. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is put a bit more detail in the eye. Oh yeah, if you want me to do like an instructional video, I can also show you that the way I do eye detail is I put like a bit of a semicircle for the black part. And then I do lines coming out like this. It's not actually big enough to show you though. But I'll do another one down here to give you an idea. But get a nice big circle for the iris, a smaller one for the pupil. But what you do is you don't finish the circle. Yeah? You go around like that. Leave the gap for where the light would be coming in. Oh yeah, and it's important to remember that if the light's coming from this side, then the shadows are going to be over this side. But yeah, so I put the pupil in, but then I make vertical lines like that. Instead of just shading it in grey. Like that. And if you go around and shade the edges of it, it gives it a more kind of 3D effect. Like that. And then you go around at the end to make the outer bit darker. There, okay. Because I'm drawing so small and I'm so far away from it, you can't really see any light in that either. But never mind. Same applies on the other side. One thing that you do have to remember is that if the light's coming from above, your own eyebrows are casting a shadow over the eye. So really that part should all be darker, like that. Then I go around this way, put some shadow in around here. Where does the shadow actually go in real life? In that way. And over the cheek. And a bit of shadow around the forehead. Frown lines. I discovered a while ago, well, didn't discover, but I noticed, looking at myself in the mirror, that my frown lines look exactly the same as my dad's. Right, so that's the lip, and get the edges of the beard in a bit more, like that. Like you see, I'm going dark there to give it a bit of not 3D, to give it a bit more roughness to it, because beards are generally quite unpredictable. And then the hair, I'm going to just shade it roughly all the way over, like that. And then I'm going to start adding more texture, remembering that it's going to be lighter near the top and darker near the bottom. And around the back here is going to be the darkest. Made myself a lot thinner than I am in real life. Oh, good. Yeah, so it's not one of my best, but that's a rough idea. So, if any of my 2 current viewers would like me to try a drawing of one of you, then just say so right now in the chat. Go. There's always a time delay on the on a stream anyway. So I have to wait now for you to hear me say that before you have time to reply. But I'm going to give you approximately 30 seconds more, and if you don't reply, I'm going to do a drawing of somebody else. Oops, should shut that there. I don't want to crush everything. Hello, Lucky. Yeah, do you want me to do your caricature then? Whoops. Oops, I've opened the wrong one. So I'll go on Twitch, and I go to my channel, and then I go to Lucky Charms, and then I enlarge your picture. Oh, I can't do it. So if I now go on OBS, add. Oops, there's sound coming out of the other computer now as well. Oh shit, it's because it's playing back. Hey, that doesn't make sense. How can it do that? Yeah, what was I trying to do? Oh yeah. Add window capture. Go OK, and then go to a different one? Whoa, that's trippy, isn't it? Right, something's gone tragically wrong here. But what I was trying to do was to get a picture of... I can't get it to open the stupid thing. Ugh. Right there, that's what I was trying to get. It doesn't let me enlarge the picture. Ah! Well, anyway, I'll have to make do with that much. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reduce this side. You're going to be well impressed when I've finished. And... whoops. I'll move the wrong one. Move that over there. It didn't move. Ah! Right. Reduce this side as well. And I can't select the stupid thing there. And enlarge like so. There, I can work from that. Maybe I should move it down a little bit because otherwise you can't see my beautiful face. If I put that behind, you should be able to see both. There. Right then. So here goes. What I'm going to start with on this picture is glasses, because glasses are really useful for getting the overall shape that you want. Oops, they're a bit longer though, aren't they? Like so. I'm not wearing my traditional streaming glasses today because if I try and draw with them on, they'll either keep falling off when I bend my head or I won't be able to see very well to know what I'm drawing. I think I've done you the completely wrong shape of glasses though, but never mind. Are they more like that? And they're a bit more square, aren't they? Yeah. That way. And then back up. And then a nose bridge. And then back that way. Yeah, would you prefer as realistic as possible, but still kind of cartoony, or a complete caricature exaggeration? I don't know why I'm giving you the choice, to be honest, because even if you tell me, I might not be able to do it. I want to get more of a kind of, that kind of shape there. There, that's better. So, Lucky has a nose as well. One thing that we share in common, other than both being originally from England, is the fact that we both have noses. Noses appear much more prominently in Spanish, because when you say, like, I'm up to here, like fed up with something, Spanish people say hasta las narices, which means I'm up to the nose. So I think I've got roughly the right kind of shape of nose. And then a mouth. you're kind of pouting in this picture, so I'm going to try and get the lips to go up a bit like that. I've done that part of the lip completely wrong. There we go. That goes that way. I've made the mouth a lot smaller than your nose, I think. And extend it that way a bit. Right. Now eyes. We put the shape of the eye in here. Got quite a feline shape of eye in this photo. And it cartoonify slightly your eyelashes. Nice big iris. And then the same principle as I showed you before, the dark bit goes that way. And then shade the rest in like that. I think I'm giving you brown eyes instead of blue, but never mind. So the other eye wants to be kind of similar, but not the same because it's in a different position. The eyelashes go more that way like that, more kind of flat because it's more in profile. So that goes down there. And put that little pink bit that everybody has. It's probably a technical name for them little pink bits. No, I actually made that side too dark on that picture, but never mind. That goes that way. There. How's that looking so far? God, if I put it next to that picture, look, you can't tell which one's which, can you? Now, you've actually got that bit of the mouth going up that way, and that bit going that way. So that's more for shading at the moment. And the bit that goes around the side of the nose goes that way. And then the chin in here. So I'm not going to do the rest of the face up that way because it's covered by hair. Oh, look, I've done this way too far up though, because the cheek starts under the glasses like that, but then comes round that way. Yeah, it's starting to take on a more caricature kind of shape. So that goes that way. Oops. I'm going to put the chin more flat and then go up here, and then I'm going to take the hair over the corner of this. Like that. I can't remember how you normally wear your hair because it's not. I haven't got the rest of your head in the picture. Do you have a centre pie? Yeah, you do have eyebrows though. You're also quite a traditionalist in that aspect. eyebrows that go slightly above the glasses. If I go like this, watch, you can get a kind of glasses effect by putting bits of light over the thing, like that. So now I'm going to start putting shadow to make it look a bit better. Quick smudge with the finger. And then the other side of the nose is going to be darker because it's where the edge is. Come down this way, like that. Around the side. See, more shade under the neck. That's where the hairline is. There. Oh no, because your hair comes back under like this. So, that way. Get rid of that bit. I've kind of made you look a bit like John Lennon. I reckon that goes over like that way. But I'm going to leave the rest unfinished. And just concentrate on the middle for now. I made an awful mess of that bit, but I'm going to fix it in a minute. Cheekbone goes round here like this. And you're going to have that thing that goes in the middle of the nose and up the sides. And so now I just need to make the lips very nice and dark. I'm actually going to add a bit of light to the lips that doesn't appear in the image, because for the drawing it gives it a bit more of a three-dimensional effect. Now the light's up here in this version, so you're going to have more light on this side, like that. And then shadow under the hair as it goes over. Make this much darker. Right, so I'm not going to call that finished, but what I am going to do is I'm going to come back to it off camera, look at some other pictures of you and fix the hair to the style that you actually have, and then I'm going to add some colour to it, because I think this very bright red that you have is kind of your most noticeable feature, isn't it? And in black and white it doesn't really do it justice. And I've added way too much shading, so I'm gonna have to, yeah, I mean, if you imagine with the darker hair, that shading doesn't look so bad. Yeah. Left side pointing, but left side of your face, or as I'm looking, that would be this way, yeah. Can't see the lines there. Yeah, I'm going to shade the hair in a little bit anyway, just to get an idea of how it all looks. Oh yeah, I think I might have mentioned before, but you can always tell when I'm really concentrating because I start going either lip up or lip down. there we go. I'm going to leave it like that for now, and I'll add a bit more detail, and then I'll drop it into your I've forgotten the name of the thing. Oh yeah, Discord. But yeah, don't feel obliged to use it if you don't like the final version. But I can tell you this much: the final version will look better than this. There you go. What do you think? Does that come across all right in the on the video though? Yeah. So that one's a project to complete later. But for now, I'm going to put your window closed again. So, any suggestions for what I could draw for the last 15 minutes or so? Something topical, you say? Okay, I've got an idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this window over here. So you guys can't see what I'm going to look for. But I'm going to look for a person's face, and I'm going to try drawing it, and then you have to tell me who I'm drawing. Right, I'm going to pick this image because the person in question has their mouth shut, so it makes it a lot easier. There, okay. So, who am I drawing? There's a prize of glory if you can be the first one to tell me who it is. Remember, this is a topical picture. I'm gonna go full on caricature style this time, because without giving away too many clues, I think you're already going to figure it out when I get this far. You know, when I was a kid, I used to watch I used to watch a lot of TV, same as everybody. But I used to especially like to watch two different presenters who had shows where they did art. One was a guy called Tony Hart, and the other was a guy called Rolf Harris. Ah, yeah, I can show you my party piece actually. This little trick was one that Rolf Harris did in one of his shows where he'd watch cartoons. Well, he wouldn't watch them, he'd just present them. But then after the cartoons, then he'd do drawings and stuff. And he showed how to do this thing, which I do sometimes when I'm teaching kids in classes, and they all love it. So the problem is that the camera might be a bit too far away to see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna do it like this, right? And then I'll show you how I'm doing it. Ready? Try and not hit the microphone. Yeah, that was a good one. So, as for this picture, yeah, for any of you that aren't from the UK or from Australia as well, because that's where he's from, you might not know that Rolf Harris was artist to the Queen and had regular appearances on TV up until the point where he was shamed and disgraced and sent to prison for meddling with young ladies, which kind of made me lose some of my respect for him. Yes, lucky, you've already got there. So that hair goes up this way and then this way. I'll tell you something that you probably don't know about Will Smith. He comes to Spain at least once a year to go on a TV show called El Hormiguero, which means the ant's nest. And it's a variety show, and the host is this really little ginger guy called, I think it's Pablo Motos. And they do the whole show. The show consists of the host chatting with a celebrity, and then they get people on to do little science experiments, and they'll have musicians on to do... It's a real kind of variety show. But they've had various Hollywood actors on when they're trying to promote their new films. But when they had Will Smith on, he seemed to be one that really thrived in the atmosphere, because it's kind of difficult for visitors who don't know Spanish culture or anything to then do an interview where they're listening to a translation while the guy is speaking at them at the same time in Spanish. And then for the viewing audience, they then have the translation coming out over Will Smith's voice as well. It's usually a woman who does all of the voices. It's something which I find really difficult to watch because my Spanish isn't quite good enough that I can tune out the English, but it's louder than the English that they still leave on as well. So they've got both voices going at the same time. So I'm going to do them with slightly saggy eyes because I'm going caricature style. Like that. But yeah, so Will Smith goes on this show and they do any kind of things like blowing things up or showing weird science experiment tricks and things. And he always comes across as like he's really enjoying himself. And it's usually the highlight of the series is when they get Will Smith in. If you want my opinions on the reason why he's currently a topic, I deplore violence of all kinds. I'm also a lifelong Will Smith fan. So the combination of the two I found very disappointing. But I think the thing that kind of spoiled it the most was Chris Rock is just not funny at all. I've never found him funny. But the way that he accepted his slap and carried on was absolute consummate professional, and I was really impressed. But then, instead of leaving it at that, Will Smith then started shouting out, and I can say it on this channel because I have no fear of swearing. But when you use the word fuck on international TV, a lot of people don't like that for some reason. And then there's been all kinds of questions about whether it's an attack on feminism for a man to defend a woman in public, and all these different kinds of noises. And it's a situation where it's kind of just a shame that it all went so badly. I think if he'd have slapped Chris Rock and then taken his seat again, and Chris Rock just carried on with his routine as he was trying to do, then it would have left some people wondering if it was planned or if it was rehearsed or whatever. But it certainly wouldn't have had as much of a negative backlash as it has. Back in my earlier incarnations of being on the internet, I had a blog. Well, I had several blogs, and I wrote a piece called something like "The Chosen Ones," in plural, and it was about how certain actors seem to always play the chosen one in their movies. And the three actors that I highlighted in that piece were Will Smith, Keanu Reeves, and I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Right, so again, same principle, leave a bit of white and cover the rest in shade, like so. Yeah, I chose this photograph that I'm working from because he's got his mouth closed, and getting teeth in a drawing is, when you're doing like a cartoon portrait, it's quite difficult. Now, without being too specific, I'm going to have to do a bit more shading on this picture than I did on the previous one. I made his ear look a bit cauliflower though. Put a bit more shade in there, like that. But yeah, I mean, I think with the shouting and heckling thing, Will Smith's a funny guy naturally, so he could have heckled a comment and won the day with his wit, and that still would have been one of them highlight moments that the Academy was very happy about, because they had a reason to get people talking about the Oscars. But it would have been about how funny Will Smith was, rather than whether it's morally right to slap somebody. So, a bit more shade, and then that's all we need to do. Oops, I forgot to shade in his nose. The nose, I've just noticed, actually looks a lot more like the actor who plays Passepartout in the new version of Around the World in 80 Days. There you go then. It was the ears, exactly. The old thing of a taxi driving down the road with the back doors open. Yeah, so I think I've done enough doodling for the day. I've been thinking about doing drawing videos for quite some time, but I wanted to just give it a go today and see how it goes. If you've enjoyed it, tell your friends. And if you've not enjoyed it, tell me so that I won't do it again. And with that much, I'm going to say goodbye.